The next tool I want to show you is NetTools. And NetTools is a little bit of an older tool, and in fact I've used it for several years. It is actually still a pretty cool tool to use though, especially if you're doing network scanning, fingerprinting, and enumeration. Now, all you have to do is go to Start and go to Network Tools, and you can see there's a whole lot of tools here. I mean, there's tons and tons. You can do ping sweeps, you can bounce, you can do UDP floods, so it's more than just a simple enumeration tool. You can actually do some attacks from this tool. I would highly caution you against using this tool on a live network that you don't have permission to scan. In addition to the network tools, there's some file tools here, steganographers, HTML encryptors, and things of that nature. So some of these tools we may talk about a little bit later on in the course, and we may use a few to show you some things. There's some system tools also, and some of these are tools that are questionable for legal use, like the credit card number validate and generator. You have to be careful with that one. But there's some interesting tools here, and again, there's probably more than you'll ever use, but they're there if you want to use them. If you want to look at the exterior tools, there's a lot of different internet tools that you can do some things with on the internet. Set up an FTP server, network protocol analyzer, website ripper, and so forth. Let's take a look though at the network tools a little bit more, and some things you might see that will help you enumerate networks include the domain to IP DNS tool. There's also Whois tools. There's also an SNMP walk tool, and there's a tool to enumerate shares on remote machines. There's a Google hacking tool, and so forth. If you continue to scroll a little bit here, there's a lot of IP tools as well. Remote LAN PC list, just a ton of tools that are out there. You can look at the Get SNMP tool, and that will help you enumerate SNMP if it's listening on the machine you're after. Like you can send SNMP queries to it, and I don't have SNMP running on this particular box, but you might get back information like the public and private string, for example. Some of the other tools that you might use include DNS tools, obviously, and some of those tools basically, like NetScan Tools Pro, can actually get some DNS information for you, some enumeration types of information, and in some cases even do a zone transfer. So there's different tools on here that they're very valuable. I'm not going to go through every single tool here, but obviously there are a ton of them. You have anonymous emailers, remote desktop scanners, and so forth. So that is NetTools 5. And what I want to show you next is Wireshark, and show you how Wireshark can be used to help you enumerate a network. This next tool should look very familiar to you. It's Wireshark, and what I want to do is show you how Wireshark can be used to enumerate your network. Now, it's a sniffer, and basically that means it collects packets that are out there in the network. And just by sitting and listening to a network, you can actually get a lot of information about it. So I'm actually going to start a live capture here, and let's see what we can see what we pick up. Right now we're not getting anything, so what I might do is switch. There we go. We're starting to get some things now. What I might do is switch and create some traffic here in a moment if we don't get a lot of things. So just check out some of the things we're seeing here. First of all, we're seeing NetBIOS name service. So that tells us there's a Windows box on the network somewhere, and it's probably using port 135, 139, 445, or some other Windows specific port. And we see the name in there somewhere, VTC XP1. So we know we've got a Windows box named VTC XP1, and by the name, which obviously gives some information away, we see that it's probably an XP box. So we're getting some other information out there too, and this is just traffic basically coming from noisy boxes. Windows, particularly Windows XP, can be noisy. We see some pings going on here, or ICMP packets going on here, and we can drill down to these and see what's in there if we like, but we probably won't see very much. We're getting a destination unreachable, so that may indicate that someone's trying to get to it and can't, or it may also indicate a UDP scan going on. And in fact, one thing you can do is start a scan, start Wireshark at the same time, and what that will do for you, in addition to getting the port information back on Nmap, you'll get information back in Wireshark, and you can analyze that and maybe pick out a few pieces of information that you wouldn't otherwise get back from Nmap. So you might see some interesting things out there. This also may tell you whether or not, even when you scan a computer to see if a service is running, sometimes those services can be hidden or stealthy or may not show up in a scan. When you've got Wireshark running, you may see some of these hidden services come out every now and then, open up, get on the network, send some traffic, and then close back up. So you may see an FTP session going on here, and that might alert you that FTP is being used. Then you might try to sniff it to see if you can get passwords and usernames, since FTP is basically a clear text protocol. We also see some DHCP traffic going on there, and that could be useful intercepting that traffic so you could try to later join a computer to the network once you know the available IP addresses that are out there and IP address space and so forth. So you can actually get some pretty decent information out of Wireshark if you just sit and listen for a while. And a lot of hackers will do just that. They'll turn Wireshark on for a little while and just listen and not do anything. In some cases, they'll create traffic on the wire using scanning techniques. So that's Wireshark and how you can use it for network enumeration.